Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. I'm so happy. It is the penultimate episode. It seems like we've been going for a long time now. And, by the time we get to this point in the series, I'm often flagging a little bit. But I really want to tackle... I think I need to resurrect my rom-com after that last few minutes there. But first of all, where would you like to start?
Well, Dave, we know we're watching a faker than faker show. But this, even if that is a real word, it makes no sense now. I'm computing in my head. But this episode was probably the fucking absolute nonsense, fakest piece of shit I've seen this series in Bachelorette. Sorry, it was a farce. I didn't buy any of this, and I'm telling you now, Dave. The more this went on, I was waiting for Zach to touch the screen and go, I have seen the light. I'm an evangelist. Give me your money. He's like a fucking one of them weirdo evangelists, especially with that suit and at the end. I'm just like, he's not fucking right at all, Zach. I'm sorry. He's an Ed the Ball. But let's start the beginning. Ivan's date, Dave. What did you buy into that?
I can't think of anything less sexy and intimate than sitting in an ice bath and trying to just hold your lips there to another person. It wasn't for me that date, and I think fair play to them. They got a meaningless world record. But yeah, I felt that started off a little bit cold. See what I did there?
And that's not me laughing, by the way. You probably get called out for not listening. It took me a while to compute that day, but yes, yes, very good. Yeah,
they did warm up a bit. Oh, Chris Harrison, didn't he? He said like, that this ice tub's turned into a bit of a hot tub, and I thought, you know what? It's just a bit weird. Like two fucking middle-aged blokes there commentating, watching on Tasha and Ivan have a long kiss, and then I thought, that's almost like me and you, isn't it? It's like this meta thing where Chris Harrison and this other guy, it just seemed weird to me. So I don't know. It didn't seem like the best date, Chris. But then, what was nice, I think, is that you could kind of see, and the music tells you as well that Tasha's getting more comfortable now. They seem to go through the wall and kind of just, get used to the cold and everything, and that's how they managed to keep it going for a bit longer. What did you reckon to that ice bath date, though?
I just thought it was just weird. I must admit, I think Ivan got the short end of the stick. I mean, he ends up in a fucking caravan in a dingy little bed. I don't believe for a minute that when Tasha shut that door, she did not hot tail it back to her fucking luxurious suite. Not a chance that he stayed there.
No, Chris, don't be dissing caravans. I do like a caravan.
I like
Now,
a caravan, but yeah, no.
I remember growing up as a kid. I mean, we did go away as well, but I did really enjoy getting over to Wales, spending some time in a caravan. I just like it. I don't know what it is about it, so I do like it. But considering it's supposed to be the fantasy suite, so they have a nice chat and stuff, and then they express that they're falling in love with each other, and I'm thinking, oh, this is sewn up now, isn't it? First one already falling in love with each other, takes the fantasy suite card or key rather, and then roll up to the fucking caravan with that, that typical caravan like pokey little bed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you've been stiff there, mate. Fucking got the short end of the stick there. But also that that show of like, look, I'm going to close the door, because that's the whole thing with the fantasy suite, Chris.
Yeah.
And I'd seen this with the South African one as well. She's closing the door, so it's like, fuck off cameras. This is time for us, a bit of sexy time. But I'm like, but we were just literally, we were seeing you inside the caravan with the cameras that are inside the caravan. So why are you shutting the door like it's this big thing about go away cameras? There are cameras mounted on the fucking walls.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people just don't even second guess that. That's what I said last week when she was really upset about Blake going, and it was like, but you don't care about Blake. Why are you? You have this double camera angle from the side, and it was just so fake that this was nonsense. And you know what I kept thinking, Deb, and I think this is as you get older. When you're younger, you want this fantasy, don't you? Like you sort of think, oh, what a girl who absolutely loves you, and she wants you to be like the man of her dreams, strong, powerful, assertive. She's going to provide for it. Just be a good person, be a good husband, and just be nice. And then all I kept thinking of was, where's the toilet? That cabin. Has she got a bucket or something? Has Ivan got to go in a bucket and Tasha has? It was so small. There was no way they were staying in that. It was good for people who don't believe that none of this is fake, but
Usually
I
there's
wasn't
a
buying it.
little Portaloo type thing there. You had a, I mean, I must admit, Chris, I think it was, yeah, I think it was last year. Was it last year or the year before? Can't remember now. Took the kids up to Southport, got this caravan. It was fucking twice the size of that, Chris. It
Yes,
was proper
yeah.
nice, and you've got proper breakfast table and stuff. That really did look on the older fashioned, smaller side. So I'm sure they would have had a toilet in there, but it would have been small. I don't know if they'd have, got up for the morning dump.
That's what I was thinking. Tasha going, Ivan, can you pass me the air freshener? Go on.
If I was Chris Harrison, I'd be like, right, it's tonight's dinner is an Indian menu, and it's only the spiciest things on here. So, would you like the Vindaloo or the Madras?
Yeah, that's all I kept thinking. I know you just think practically, don't you? But yeah, not when you're trying to impress a girl, Dave. There's no breaking wind or anything, is there? Come on now, you know what I mean? You've got to be the gentleman. But that's all I kept thinking. Thinking there's
Yeah.
no way. But what did you think of? What I found with this episode, every single guy who laid it on the line, even Zach, who I don't really like at all, and I think there's something sus about him. And obviously Ivan said he loved doing that. I didn't feel that when she reciprocated it, it was genuine. I'm not just digging her out. I just don't think that because she's got to play to the camera and it's the final three, it's the penultimate episode, there's got to be that thing there. I am not feeling, I think Ivan was the only one I sort of believed in. And I did think Brendan was for the win. Obviously, we'll get into that in a bit. I'm not convinced, even with Zach, Dave, I wasn't convinced that what Tasha's saying is just nothing more than a bit of drama for the show. It's like watching a soap opera, I thought, today.
Well, it is a little bit weird, isn't it? And again, this is going to be one of those things where people will possibly be writing in and say, "Well, of course, this is just how it is. Of course, she loves multiple guys, and on The Bachelor, he's going to love multiple girls, and of course, they're all going to take the fancy suites and all shag like rabbits." So, but she said, Ivan said, "I'm undoubtedly falling in love with you right now," and Tasha said, "I'm falling in love with you too." At the time, I thought, okay, I can get that. I can get behind that. But later, I actually felt she was a bit warmer towards Zach than she was to Ivan. So she basically, I mean, she pretty much, well, apart from Brendan, who fucking blew his own
What the
chances,
hell?
didn't he? But for the other two, for Ivan and Zach, she's basically told them both, she loves them. Which again, personally, find a bit weird. But I just felt it a bit more with Zach. Now, when Ivan actually went back, though, he's grinning like a fucking Cheshire cat, isn't he? He's putting his arms back and his head, showing his fucking massive sweaty armpits. And Zach is kind of gleefully telling Ivan that the date card said they were going to explore each other. And, he keeps going on about how they're going to explore each other. And it's obviously a substitute for sex, isn't it? What he's thinking. And, if we get to spend the night and what have you. But in that moment when Zach went off to the date for the date, I felt that both Ivan and Brendan seemed really quite withdrawn. And I
Yeah.
guess that's what's the fascinating thing about when you get to this stage, when it gets so intimate, so close. You've shared your time with the other guys in the house as well, and so you've kind of bonded with them to a certain level as well. But you're in competition with them, so I kind of felt it fascinating, and I guess I mean, you've said about it being fake, and of course, there are bits that I'll come on to a bit later, but I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of just going with it.
Yeah, to see how it plays out.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think, like say, old sweaty Zach, because when he goes up, he decides to put a bit of a sprint on, doesn't he? And I'm like, yeah, it's not good. It's not going to be good in this sun, is it? And sure enough, you see him in a few shots later, and he's fucking dripping with sweat. He's like the guy Striker out of Airplane, isn't he?
Yeah,
When
boy, you were just refused. Will you marry me? Fuck off! You fucking got a bottle of water over your head. But yeah, I think you're right. This has just got to play out. It's so like Love Island. This episode, obviously, and we've got another one tonight to finish the whole series off. And I've loved it, Dave. But I do think Zach. For me, there's something not fucking right about this kid at all. And I know we've had the Bennett thing, and we have to have a bad guy, but I don't know what it is about him. There's just something off, and I can't
yeah,
put my feet. I think she's going to get married to him, or she's going to get with him, and then when she gets to his house, he's going to have a cellar full of fucking dead bodies or something. There, because he's not a fucking full shilling. This guy.
no, and did you not think she called him out about how his family had said how he didn't previously want kids, and now he suddenly wants kids. And when Tasha had a previous conversation about having 5 kids, he was all up for that and everything. So I thought, oh, you fucking got him here. You've got him. But then he just said, he says he knows he loves her, and he just kind of waved it off. That was how I felt before, and it was just like an easy thing to say. And I'm like, come on, Tasha, we can all fucking see the lies here. Surely, just call him out. It's bullshit. What else is he going to say? This is just like his cheating story, which was so blatantly a story. Come on, Tasha, make us all proud. Call him out for it. Nope. She just buys it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Dave, come on. I cheated on my girlfriend when I was in 6th grade. Now, I don't know the grading system in America, so I don't know how old he was, but it's like, what the fuck? Come on, that is an absolute cop-out to get out of a lie detector test. He's probably had fucking more action than fucking Dirk Diggler, this fucker, Dave. He's so dishonest. I'm sorry. We know the show is fake, and we know that there's going to be something. I'd like to believe Tasha is in it for the greater good, and she is. And she certainly cannot get with somebody just to satisfy Chris Harrison and the Bachelorette and everything. I get that. Like what happened with Claire, you can't do that. You can play along for the cameras for so long, but at some point, you've got to say enough. And she has walked off quite a lot, when things have got on top of her, Dave. And I just think the whole Zach thing, well, he's obviously going to go to the last episode when we talk about Brendan, but I just don't think he deserves to be there, Dave. And obviously, just moving slightly onto.
But she
Sorry,
seemed
go on.
she seemed well up for the fantasy suite, though, didn't she?
Yeah, which they did the paint thing, didn't they? Actually, sorry, for talking about Brendan, they did the paint thing and all that, but he just seemed dead forced. And she asked him a genuinely cutting question, and asked him, and I can't remember what it was. It was an opinion. It wasn't something like relationship breaking, but it was a genuine question. All he did was just grab her for the kiss, as if say, "Fuck that, I'm not answering that," and went in for the kill. And I'm like, "You've well dodged out of that one, Zach." I can't remember what she asked him. It was something. Nothing intrusive or anything. It was just something that you would ask someone if you were in a partner, and he literally just put the lips on her straight away. And I was like, "You are not being honest," because I didn't mention this last week, but he did say last week something about when he was meeting the families, like they weren't there for me when I needed them.
Mm.
And there's that tension. We all have tension in our families, Dave. We can all paint that we have the best family in the world, and we don't. There's always somebody pisses you off, whether it's your immediate family, someone's fell out with someone else because they didn't put fucking milk in the coffee or something, and he knows that I don't have sugar, and he put sugar in he did that on purpose because I'm diabetic, or there's always some bullshit
He was
argument in
trying
it.
to rob them blind. When exactly
Yeah.
weren't they there for it?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. How dare them change the fucking safe code
Yeah,
on
they
me when I
changed
was
their
trying to
pins
get
to
money.
fucking see you next Tuesdays.
And the poor crook lock on the car I was going to sell. Yeah, sorry about that, Zach. You know what I mean? But he's not right, Dave, at all. But very fucking bizarre
And do you
character.
remember me saying to you that he just didn't seem to have the remorse really for me, you know?
Yeah.
And she was saying, I think Tasha said something like, "You've had a wild time," and he went, "The best." It's like, that isn't remorse. It's like, I don't know. It screams a bit off to me. And she even said it, in the morning after when they're doing the dancing, it's like, oh, I've never done the dancing on the bed. Well, that's because the fucking camera crews have just turned up, isn't it? Because you had the night without the cameras there. They turn up. You got to do something, haven't you? So, but she says to him, I knew you'd be trouble. And he's like, trouble's good. I'm like, yeah, it might be, but not for marriage and kids, it's not. So,
No,
yeah.
no, I'm with you on that. And then we get again, and this Brendan for me was the winner, and he's a lovely lad. He's a really, really good guy. I like Brendan a lot. Especially, like say, Claire stole his hug from his niece. That was so bizarre last week. But I watched
Claire,
it again with
Tasha.
Sam. Claire Tasha, and she did that hug. I watched it with Sam again the other night, and she was catching up, and I'm like, this is bullshit. But anyway, is you've had Ben who does a runner last week, absolutely shoots his load completely, just doesn't own up and say like he don't think it's the right thing for him, he loves or whatever, and he's gone. Brendan does the same, and I don't know whether he got cold feet or whatever, but he's not going to come back. And I just found this whole thing bizarre. I think Brendan had told them that he didn't want to be here, and he knew that he wasn't in love with her or whatever, and it wasn't the right time for him as a person because of what he'd gone through. Because he was married, one he previously, and that. And I was like, I get it. He understands how heartbroken you can leave somebody. So I think he was being genuine, Dave. Probably the only him and
Mhm.
Ivan are the only two guys that I do think are genuine. But he's told them before, and they've made him go on this thing and done this whole bullshit fake story about commitment with rings and making him try rings on and everything, and which is a bit really that's sort of playing with his mental health. Really, Dave. This is my opinion. I don't know whether
Mhm.
I'm right on this, but it felt that from the off of that date that he didn't want to be there. He'd already told them, and they thought like, right, well, let's make him look like he's commitment shy, and that's the story we're going to tell when he does a runner. And then Tasha's going to go, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're going." And I think it was the ruse all along because that just played into his speech at the end, and I just felt bad for him. I felt they were the couple, Tasha and Brendan. And now it's got to be T and Ivan all the way for me, Dave. But I mean, what did you think of that whole thing with Brendan?
I saw it a slightly different way. I thought throughout the whole episode, I thought Brandon looked like he was about to shit himself. He looked like he was fucking gonna. I don't mean like. I
They
just mean
might
he
have
looked
done.
really, really nervous. He looked like he was going for some high pressure job interview or something. Because when Ivan comes back, I think that is even before Ivan went. Actually, he's for me. It came across that the realization of where he is and the situation that he's in hit home. And I think he's sort of come, gradually because he constantly had that nervous, like, sweating profusely kind of look about him throughout the episode. And I thought it got worse and worse. So when Ivan come back, looking all chuffed, when Zach came back looking all chuffed, I think he's like, if this gets through, I don't know if I'm strong enough that I can actually. I don't think I can cope. If let's say I get down to the last two and then she breaks my heart, I don't think I'm strong enough to deal with it. And so I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut out the middleman. I'm going to give this speech. It's going to be my decision on my terms, and I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
And I could be guessing there, but that's just speculation, obviously. But then, of course, when he goes, oh, Tasha there. And I do kind of like Tasha, but she has done some things that do annoy me a little bit. She's fucking in tears saying, oh, I thought Brandon was the one and, I could really see myself being with him. I'm like, but that's the third time I've heard this in this fucking episode. You can see yourself being with all of them. So, I'm not saying she didn't have feelings for Brandon, but it just rings a little bit hollow when you've been saying it about Ivan and Zach before that.
Yeah, and also, I mean, and someone else who's just appeared in the bubble, Dave, is season 13 Bachelorette Rachel. And she's having a discussion with Tasha. Again, this bubble is ever expanding. And yeah, funny enough, Dave, she mentions that, Ben was the one that got away. And what happens next? Fucking Benny boy turns up at the front door. I mean, come on, that was so bullshit, that.
You know what this was? This was Deadpool 2, where he looks right in the camera and says, "This is a big, heavy dose of foreshadowing."
Yes, exactly, exactly. You couldn't have got a more fake fucking storyline. It's because Brendan's gone there like, oh shit, she can't send somebody home. Let's bring someone back. Oh no, Ben comes back like what Bennett did the episode before. And I'm like, this is
What
nonsense.
did I
Dave, that
say to
isn't
you,
Dave.
though? What did I say to you last week? It's the rom-com. I told you.
Yeah, it
He's
is.
had that moment. He'd started off. He realised he loved her. We had our what did I say? It was 1,000 miles. We've got that. He's got a bit of that. Then he's down. He's singing a bit of Foreigner to himself. I want to know what love is. And now, what do you reckon at the end here? Maybe I want to dance with somebody, or Lady in Red, Lady in Red, maybe. Although she wasn't wearing a
Yeah.
red dress, I guess. But this is his redemption moment in the rom com, Chris. So he's put her in the spot. He's expressed how he's felt, and took Tasha off guard again. Sorry, I've taken you off guard there. Um, I know you've got all the cameras set up and all the lighting and everything set up, so it's not really off guard. But she sort of goes off, doesn't she? She listens to what he says, and then just seems to be completely thrown off. So she walks off, into the back. You can see all the producers and the crew and everything back there, and she doesn't know what to do with herself, Chris.
I don't know. I mean, Dave, who do you think's going to win this now? I want Ivan over anything. If this Ben situation evolves, I just don't know whether she's going to Bennett him and just bin him off with him because she wasn't buying what he was selling. I don't think.
Yeah, but again, with the preview for tomorrow night, we kind of know what happens. We know Ben's going to be there because they fucking showed us.
That's true, Dave. That's really true. Anyway, I'm trying to, I'm just trying to compute all this because we've had mucking more comebacks on this than Elvis, Dave, haven't we? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. How many people are going to leave and then just randomly turn up cleaning a windows or fucking fixing a plug or something? Oh, hello. Oh, it's me, Mara. I told you I loved you.
Fucking
I
Noah.
still love you. Yeah, yeah. Fucking Jason's going to be there in his wrestling gear.
He's
I'm back.
supposed to be in quarantine as well. What's the
Yeah.
score? How can Ben just fucking walk back?
Hey, Dave, this has all happened within a day or so, hasn't it? They're still on campus.
You reckon? No,
Yeah.
at the top. Chris Harrison was talking about last week, and they'd gone on all the dates. All the dates had to be over different days. So you're talking bare minimum. That's 3 days, surely. So I'm thinking this is more a week after Ben's gone. So he's either just been waiting in the wings there, because he doesn't have to stay there, does he? He's booted off the show. Go and quarantine somewhere else. Oh no, fake bubble doesn't exist anyway, Chris.
Yeah, well, it doesn't. But no, it doesn't. I agree. But Dave, does this not play into the hands of how overproduced this is? That this could literally have been the next day. Don't forget, they don't have to shoot this in order of what we see on TV.
Yeah.
If
That's a
if
fair
if,
point.
if and I'm not saying that to be smug or smart, but this episode was so overproduced that it's questioning me now whether any of this is even one, if it's even real, but what sort of sequence was this in? Have they collared Ben before he's going to get the taxi home? We need you. Get back in here now. You just don't know. Is he there as a substitute in case someone bails? It's like if something happens with one of these, you're going to have to finish in. We don't know how that works, do we, behind the scenes?
She does say, though, doesn't she? Before Ben turns up, she's getting ready there, and she says that Brandon's gone, so there's only 2 of them, but it's important to have a rose ceremony.
Yeah, true.
So I think you're right, and I was just trying to replay it back in my mind then. So could he have done that literally the day after? But I
He
don't
could have.
think, with her saying that, unless they've caught her and got to wear exactly the same dress and speak those lines,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past the show, to be honest. But
I've got a prediction for you, Dave.
go on,
I
go
have.
on.
The prediction is she's going to have all three of them lined up, right? So all three of them are going to be there, lined up, ready to go. And you're not going to believe this, Dave. This is what I think is going to happen. Dale is going to come in and tell Tasha that he loves her. He's always loved her. And Claire was simply a stepping stone to get with Tasha, even though he's never met her, never spoke to her, never seen her, allegedly. Dale's going to come in on his fucking shining light, Dave. I'm telling you, with no socks on, a pair of white plimsolls like Bennett, and a
He's,
fucking tennis shirt. I'm
he's,
telling you.
it's going to be the rose ceremony. He's just going to stick his head round the corner with that big shit-eating grin he's got, and just, oh, sorry, I didn't know. Am I in the right place?
I don't know about that. I was looking for the toilet. All right, okay, Dale. Yeah, it's over there, son. Go on, anyway. Dave, that would be the ultimate fucking ending if Dale came in fucking and swooped off of me.
I right. So who's left? We've got to put Ben in the mix. We've seen him in the preview for tomorrow. He's got to be in the three. So she's got to go through a rose ceremony. They'll meet the families and whatever. I think, and then we'll basically have it's the final, isn't it? So who've we got? We've got Ivan, we've got Zach, and we've got Ben. Ben's got to be an outsider, surely. As much as Chris, if Ben wins, I will be calling fucking bullshit rom-com. But
Yeah.
I'm going to cling to the fact that it's not all completely just scripted. It's highly produced, but that's not the same as it being completely scripted. Ivan is such a good guy. That's how he comes across. He comes across like a genuine and good guy. So he should win. I just think for a bit of controversy, Chris, we don't, Zach does not sit right with us, does he? There's just something off about him, and I don't really trust him. Wouldn't it be great for a bit of drama, though, if she chose Zach?
Right, Dave, I'm going to stick my neck out here. Right, this is my neck being stuck out. And I know my predictions are goddamn awful, and that would be amazing. You're so right with Zach. If Ivan doesn't win it, she picks nobody. I don't feel that she loves them as much as they love her. And that isn't a slant at her. She has to do the right thing for herself. I think we may have a labour of love, Kristen situation.
Well, she did pick someone, though, didn't she, in Labour of Love, Christy? The
Hmm?
fact that it didn't last, like, it took a day to air, and by the time it had aired, they'd already split up and she was posting it on Instagram. I don't think they'll allow it on the show for them to just be, you know what, I don't like any of these guys. Because she said she's pretty much in love with Zach and Ivan. So it'd be a massive U turn to just say, because look, this isn't real engagements, is it? They can
Yeah.
still. I know it's a real engagement, but you know what I mean. It's not as if that's it for the rest of their lives. They can still back out of it.
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you should never do something like this as much as it's for the TV show. You could be right, Dave, but I've just got a little feeling. I've not read anything, genuinely haven't, but
That's what you're
I,
going for, then. That you're going
that's what
for.
I'm saying.
She's going to fuck them both off and not win any money or anything that's up for grabs or win any prizes or anything.
I think so. I think if she doesn't pick Ivan, I want her to win nothing. And if she's true to her heart, Dave, she'll not take the money.
Well, if you're going to get off the fence, though, and actually choose one, so you're going to go for Ivan.
Ivan, yeah.
Okay, and I'll go for Zach because I just think it's for a bit of silly drama because he's clearly not the right person, but going against the grain there. Now, Chris, have we got any emails?
We have, Dave. Yeah, we're not going to be doing a bonus episode this week, guys, because it's the end of the series. So,
And it's
if you
Christmas.
and it's Christmas, yes. So, if you have got anything that you want us, to talk about with the show, this series, if you've sat there and gone, Chris, Dave, what are you talking about? email us, guys, cdrealitycast@gmail.com, because it's the penultimate episode. We're going into the final. Send in your emails today if you can, and we'll get them read tomorrow. So we've had one, Dave, off. Well, we've had actually two, Dave, haven't we? In fact, no, I'm looking again, Dave. We've had three since our last episode. We have. We've had no, we haven't, Dave. We've
Can you
had
fucking
two.
count? You?
I can't count. Would you like to ring this one, Dave? Because this is from our good friend Lauren, who she is having a little bit of an email war with me across the airwaves. So would you like to read this one out first?
I would. It's to my frenemy. In peace to Chris. I had a glimpse this week into just how difficult it can be to suffer from your special chronic condition of trash opinion-itis. I went through a moment of trying to believe Bennett's off-putting behaviour as some variation of his being on the spectrum, only to realise I'd been thoroughly bamboozled. And in my case, at least I didn't have a snarky peg leg calling attention to my clownery. So, Chris, from this snarky peg leg, please know my barbs always come wrapped in used mustache socks of love. If Dave can love you, who am I to fear from your basic mental faculties? But dear Dark Lord Harrison, it's going to be hard. I can forgive you for calling Hometowns the best episode of any season boring. It was a weird version after all. I can look the other way when you fall hook, line, and sinker for Ben's little tragedy of muteness, not seeing it for the most obvious audition for Bachelor that ever was. And I can even feel hope for the fact that you have gone from hats off to Zach to being just as skeeved out by that sweaty praying mantis as I am. I won't even touch your abundant love for all things Cardassian, simply in the interest of keeping peace. This is a fucking brilliant Bennett email, isn't it? But Chris, have you no heart at all to call bullshit on the one moment of actual genuine emotion this week when Tasha had to show Ivan that his brother had arrived? When she got to see the moment Ivan saw him and the flood of relief and love Ivan felt, how could you question that it moved her too? I'm a cold ass bitch with a heart of stone, and even I felt teary. Perhaps because I've direct experience with having someone you love struggle with the darkness, and how I might have immediately thought, as I suspect Ivan may have, that his brother's absence may have meant something bad had happened to him again. Yet there he was, safe and whole. That felt real. I felt it with him. I believe Tasha did too. But I suppose part of frenemyship must mean agreeing to disagree at times. It won't be easy, and the sting of never getting that crisp musical performance will perhaps linger like the pain of your new tattoo. But with Dave to broker peace, I promise to do as you promised with the gym this January, and try, sort of. The artist formerly known as Peg the Leg. Now, Chris, what do you say to that?
I was going to say something beginning with F, but Lauren, I will say Merry Christmas. You have defeated me. That's all I'll say, Dave. She has done me there. And I don't remember saying that it was the best episode ever last week, Dave, but obviously
No,
I did.
I think Lauren's saying it's the best episode ever. You said it was boring.
Ah, right. Okay. Fair enough. Well, Lauren, opinions make the world go round. And again, you've absolutely done me, my dear friend, with a wonderful email. And you, obviously, as this goes on week by week and our little frenemy sort of rivalry goes on, Dave, she hasn't got a peg leg anymore. She will be back up on her feet, Dave. And, have a good Christmas, Lauren. And if you can, stop absolutely calling me out and getting everything right in your emails, because I've got nothing to come back at because she's right. But anyway, my opinion
Chris,
lost. Right.
We've got another email, haven't we, from Anna?
Thank God for this one, Dave. Right, this one's from Anna. I'm literally watching the Paint date right now, and I can't stop cringing. This is the most uncomfortable I have ever been watching reality TV. She literally laid down while he squirted stuff all over her. Has nobody reminded Tasha that Zach is a recovering junkie with an addictive personality who has demonstrated history of making impulsive and reckless decisions? I think he literally just used the metaphor of her electrifying him. This is not a healthy relationship. Hoping the cringe is mutual, Anna. P.S. Chris is the best presenter I have ever heard. Thanks, Anna. No.
She's right there, though, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. There was a few things he did, Dave. There was a certain part of her anatomy that he started spraying. And I'm thinking, this is not looking. This is, yeah. Do you understand what I mean?
But even, of course, even leading up to that, though, he's going about exploring. The kid just kept fucking repeating exploring, didn't he? It's like,
I forgot. Yeah. I was just like, you fucking weirdo. What is that all about? I was with you, Dave. When he kept saying to the camera, I was like, this has just turned a very seedy fucking 1970s fucking cop movie sleazy. You know what I mean?
I think you were right with Dirk Diggler before. I think like I say, he's just substituting that in his head for sex, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking explore the fuck out of her. You know, it's like it was that fucking crazy look in his eye when he's saying it as well. It's like, oh, fucking hell. Like you say, there's got the show has got to have a bit of a duty of care there, and surely they can see some of this stuff. We're just seeing the edited stuff, but you know, I'd love to be able to give him the benefit of the doubt, Chris, but honestly, I don't.
No, I'm with you. He needs to go, Dave. If he wins, it's a fucking travesty, even though, like you say, it's good for the controversy. That is just a terrible relationship. As far as what we can see from the edited show that we've had to watch over the last, was it this episode 13 and 14?
This was 12, wasn't it? So it's 13 coming up. And so, Christ, it's been a marathon, hasn't it? It when you say it out loud, it doesn't seem like that much, but I guess because it's been the weekly shows, because, you know, we've had all the goings on and talk shows and whatever, bonus episodes halfway through, and I guess it feels like a little bit longer. But Chris, we have got something for tomorrow. So this was a challenge from Lauren, and basically she sent us a link to the so the Bachelor season is going to kick off in January, and all of the girls have put forward their bios, and so our challenge is to go through the bios and make some predictions for that season. So I think tomorrow, after we've wrapped up the Bachelorette, you know, we know who's going to win, then I think we'll do that. Just a bit of fun.
Yeah, let's do it, Dave. Send that link over, my friend, and I'll go through it. Are we going to do it on the fly, live?
Of course.
Oh, fair enough. No preparation. I like it.
I mean, you can read the bios if you want, but I mean, we'll in terms of making predictions, we'll just chat about it and, you know, whatever we think at the time.
Keep it, Dave. Let me do it on the fly. It could be a disaster, but yeah, that's probably better. I don't prepare anything, as you know. So
it's going to be like the Love Island audition.
Hey, by the way, well, my Las Vegas tattoo's coming on well. I'm ready for Love Island. Take me in there, presenting it.
Nice. It does look good.
Mm. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I meant Love Island, but yeah, thanks, Dave. Right. If you want to contact us, guys, at CD RealityCast on social media. If you want to email us, like Lauren, like Anna has, and don't throw me under the bus like Lauren has. She's got me nailed to the cross every single week with her emails. I've got to admit there, Dave, sometimes it's better for me to keep my big gob shut. But anyway, so thank you, Lauren. You've been good fun this series. It's been really good fun. cdrealitycast@gmail.com. And if you do get a chance and you're liking the show or you've got an opinion on what we do, it doesn't matter, good or bad, get over to your podcast catching app and drop us a review and we'll give it a read on the show as well. So, Dave.
Now, Chris,
sorry, go on.
I've missed our Facebook group there. So Charlene had put, oh good grief, the ice bath date is literally the stupidest thing the show has come up with yet. They are miserable and forced to lock lips in the most unromantic kiss ever filmed. And Lorraine actually says, sneaky Pete Zach, but he gives me the creeps. So, we're probably not on our own in terms of how Zach comes across there. So I'd forgotten about the Facebook thing until you said so. Yeah, cheers for the comments, guys, and keep them coming. Let's look forward to the next season, the final tomorrow, and yeah, can't wait to see who wins.
Exactly that. I'll see you tomorrow, mate.
Bye now.